Hi, students. How are you doing? Hope you are great. Welcome to Naya Sip. Let me tell you all something. Some people do not listen, even when you scream it in their ear, and they are not deaf. They will still not hear. Vivek Ramaswamy had a jubilee debate with Turning Point, and the little kids there told him that he cannot be the governor of their state. Why? Because he's not a Christian. How does he want to? How does he want to be a governor? They told him straight up, and he told them, "I do not want to be your pastor. I want to be your governor." Who would tell Vivek Ramaswamy that he does not have the skin color for protection? Black people have been telling you this for years. And you said that it is MAGA, that red heart that you want to be. And you are red heart. Now you can see. Why do I have this strong feeling that these kids were also coached on what to say and what not to say? That is to tell you that MAGA do not want him to even come out to even vie for the governorship election or something, or governorship, whatever seat. So this is another memo for him to just go from that place and go home, that he cannot be the governor. Kids told him this. Let me tell you people something. Racism, no matter how, as long as you are not what they are looking for, you are not it. Let's get into this.
Well, y'all remember Vivek Ramaswamy, right? MAGA supporter, glizzy rider of Donald Trump, former presidential candidate for the Republican Party, and presently running for the governorship of Ohio. Well, it seems like Vivek here got a dose of bigoted reality, courtesy of Charlie Kirk's Turning Point USA. Yes, Vivek was at a Turning Point USA conference in Montana where he was speaking, and bigots let him know his place. Let's take a listen.
Hi, Vivek, you would profess to be a conservative, correct?
I'm a proud conservative.
If you are an Indian, a Hindu, coming from a different culture, different religion than those who founded this country, those who grew this country, built this country, made this country the beautiful thing that it is today, what are you conserving? You are bringing change. I'll be 100% honest with you. Christianity is the one truth. Jesus Christ is God, and there is no other God. He is part of the Holy Trinity, and any other God is a demon, and it's false. How can you represent the constituents of Ohio who are 64% Christian if you are not a part of that faith?
It doesn't seem like the Turning Point USA crowd is taking too kindly to Vivek Ramaswamy's practice of Hinduism, a Hinduism that was taught to him by his immigrant parents, by the way. But I digress. And just in case you think that was a one-off, no. You didn't hear the applause in the background, right? Well, let me bring you another one. And you might need to reference your bigot idiot handbook for the next one, because intelligence and bigotry rarely operate in the same space. So take a listen to this next question.
A personal question. It's allowed. So based on what the press says about your beliefs, you call yourself a Hindu, but you also call yourself a Christian. I don't call myself Christian. I call myself a Hindu. Okay. So based on what the Turning Point's values are, which is Christianity, I'm a little confused on why you believe in I don't know. Wouldn't it be logical
Get it
to
out,
conclude
man.
that a monotheistic organization would be more, I don't know, I guess I just don't understand why.
It seems like it's going to take him a while to get to his point. Hold on. All right, let's get back to it.
Logical to conclude that a monotheistic organization would be more, I don't know, I guess I just don't understand why I guess a polytheistic ideology would support some sort of, I guess, monotheistic perspective, which Christianity is. So I guess I'm I'm wondering why you have Christian values in that way.
Sure.
Whew. That wasn't all of it, but you get the gist of what was being said and implied, right? Yeah, right. So, Vivek, how does it feel? Oh, them conservative white boys are leaving you, aren't they? Yeah. So, I'm going to reach out and ask Charlie Kirk by using my Ouija board here. Is this his turning point? USA. Yeah. Vivek, you want to borrow it? You can't make this up. Y'all have the day you deserve. And may the ancestors judge you accordingly to your...
Jesus Christ is God, and there is no other God. And any other God is a demon, and it's false. How can you represent the constituents of Ohio who are 64% Christian if you are not a part of that faith?
Christian voices should be the main voice of America, and I want to know, basically, why you seem to be, and I don't mean to be horribly offensive, but why you seem to be masquerading as a Christian.
I don't call myself Christian. I call myself a Hindu. I'm not running to be pastor of Ohio. I'm running to be governor of Ohio, and I didn't run to be pastor of America. I ran to be president of the United States of America. Do you think it's inappropriate for someone who's a Hindu to be, say, a U.S. president?
No, I think it's no. Well,
You be honest.
Because you're an Indian.
Never thought that would be my day. I never thought that would be my day. We bonded over bigotry, but they weren't supposed to turn on me. No, I never thought that would be my day. Now I never thought that would be my day. I never thought that would be my day. We bonded over bigotry, but they weren't supposed to turn on me. No, I never thought the birds would eat
Visit shop.francesca.net to get your Leopards Ate My Face merch. Ahora en español.
So let me see here. First, you can't be a vice presidential candidate and be gay. Now, you can't be a presidential candidate and be Hindu, or gubernatorial candidate and be Hindu. The white folks told Vivek Ramaswamy, look, we love you. We love you, man. We love everything about you. Your poise, your experience, your success, your belief system, not religious beliefs. That's when we got to pump our brakes. Your policy is amazing. I agree with everything. But you not being a Christian, that's where I draw the line. We have seen both sides of the aisle basically be extremely prejudiced for two different reasons. On the Democratic side, we saw Vice President Kamala Harris when she was on the campaign trail to be the presidential nominee of the Democratic Party. She said her first choice was Secretary Pete Buttigieg, but she didn't pick him because he was gay. And to clarify, a lot of people say it wasn't just because he was gay, it was because of how people would perceive them together, a black woman and him being gay. That's too much going on. But at the end of the day, if he wasn't gay, he would have been chosen. And now we go to the Republican side of the ticket. And Vivek Ramaswamy was a Republican candidate for the president of the United States, but now he's a gubernatorial candidate for the governor of Ohio. And he was at an event for Turning Point USA. I think it was a different state like Montana or something. And a whole bunch of white kids got up there and told him that, yeah, you sound like a pretty great politician. Like you would be a great governor. But that Hindu thing, and they would not let it go. And it's so crazy because both sides of the aisle, the people in response to, although, Vice President Kamala Harris was the actual one in power who could make it happen, these kids can't even vote for him for governor. So there's a difference there. But it's the fact that both parties told the candidates that they are qualified. They actually like their policies. Like, we like what you stand for. It's just these few things we won't allow. Oh man, that was a good one for Vivek. That wasn't in his state. He'll probably get those same questions, but he seems to get a lot of love in Ohio. And the way it looks, I don't know what's going on in the inner workings of Ohio. He's probably going to be
So Vivek Ramaswamy, ran his ass up into a town hall in Ohio, where he is running for governor. Can I tell you, these kids lit his ass hole wide open. I mean, they let his ass have it with both barrels. He, of course, he placated to the Charlie Kirk people, to MAGA, to all of the, the people that get people like him elected, all of the people who want to stay on the fringe and cause problems, and I alone can fix it kind of motherfucker. Vivek Ramaswamy is rich. His parents immigrated here. They are Indian. It did not go well. I'm going to give y'all a little taste of it. And we're going to talk on the other side. This is just one kid. I might only just play that part.
Jesus Christ is God, and there is no other God. He is part of the Holy Trinity, and any other God is a demon, and it's false. How can you represent the constituents of Ohio who are 64% Christian if you are not a part of that faith? If you are an Indian, a Hindu, coming from a different culture, different religion than those who founded this country, those who grew this country, built this country, made this country the beautiful thing that it is today, what are you conserving? You are bringing change. I'll be 100% honest with you. Christianity is the one...
Now, Ann Coulter told this man to his face that she was never going to vote for him because he's Muslim. Nothing about him will represent her. And that kid basically just said the same thing to his face. He read down some literal statistics to Vivek Ramaswamy, trying to be in government, trying to be a part of a club that would rather not have him a member. He is going to learn the hard way, no matter how much money you have. Not all kinfolk is skinfolk, or however that works. Vivek, you are a outsider, sir. You are not American to these people. You subscribe to a different kind of faith than these folks. Your skin is too dark. Now, your little people on your campaign should have told you that. You are never going to be a governor of anything in Ohio, ever. In fact, anywhere in America. America is not doing people like you at all. Now, you need to be let down the easy way or the hard way. Out of the mouths of babes, they say. That kid told you to your face, we are not voting for you. You are not the same.
Jesus Christ is God, and there is no other God. He is part of the Holy Trinity, and any other God is a demon, and it's false. How can you represent the constituents of Ohio who are 64% Christian if you are not a part of that faith? If you are an Indian, a Hindu, coming from a different culture, different religion than those who founded this country, those who grew this country, built this country, made this country the beautiful thing that it is today, what are you conserving? You are bringing change. I'll be 100% honest with you. Christianity...
First and foremost, I want to say good for Vivek here. He was able to experience the politics of white supremacy that he adopted and assimilated into, only to get chewed up and spit out. As a former white Christian nationalist, I am speaking from experience, not something I watched in a movie or read in a book. This is a real life experience. To all black and brown people, white Christian conservatives, especially MAGA, will only like you or promote you if you know your place. Look at Candace Owens. She was a MAGA darling, a star, until she got out of line. When she decided to dance to the beat of her own drum set, this is what they had to say about her. But the truth is, black and brown people already know this about white Christian nationalists. So to white people, recognize this truth and change. You notice how the kid in the video said that 64% of Ohio is Christian? How can you represent us as being Hindu? What he really wanted to say was 76% of Ohio is white. How can you represent us being a brown man? But as they say, there's no hate like Christian love. It's easier to masquerade their racism and their xenophobia under the guise of their Christian faith. The vast majority of them spewing this ignorance don't even know what Hinduism is. Hell, the vast majority of them have never read their Bible. But I love it when they say that this country was founded on Judeo-Christian principles. Our founding fathers, the signers of the Declaration of Independence, were all Protestant Christians. You know what else they were? Slave owners, at least half of them, and for the other half, it wasn't a deal breaker. Much like MAGA Republicans today, half of them are openly and explicitly racist, and the other half, it's not a deal breaker for them. But honestly, I'm really glad that Vivek got to experience this running for governor of Ohio. He got to see that people in MAGA will not like you based on your religion, your skin color, your sexual orientation, and your sexual preference. No matter how much you do your little dance, Vivek, white racist people will not pick you.
How can you say you're a Christian when you don't follow Christian values? You say you're a Hindu, you say you're a Christian.
How can you represent the constituents of Ohio who are 64% Christian if you are not a part of that faith?
Christian voices should be the main voice of America. Why you seem to be masquerading as a Christian?
You call yourself a Hindu, but you also call yourself Christian.
I don't call myself Christian.
And it's young kids too, with this Christian. Vivek Ramaswamy, boy oh boy, he keeps trying, doesn't he? He's pretty wealthy guy, yeah. $900-something million worth, yeah. And, you know, he, of course, they question him on how he got that, but, you know, most people, they got a lot of money. Everybody did something grimy. But he worked so hard to get the approval of some of these so-called Christians. And this video is they're just barraging him with questions like, I think Christian, to me, it's all this Christian is basically white supremacist bullshit. That's how I feel. It's a cold word. It's just like when someone says, I'm from a small town, means there's no black people there. You understand where I'm coming from? Conservative means you're kind of racist, but not really. You can get racist depending on what the situation is. That's just how I feel about certain things. And there are other whites that agree with me. So I don't want anybody to get mad at this. And plus, I'm a comedian. So if you don't like what I say, get the fuck off of comedians' accounts. How about that? Anyway. So Vivek Ramaswamy, he ran for president, vice president. He tried to do some shit on Trump's cabinet, didn't work. Like, yo, man, basically they're trying to say is we don't want no Indian dude running our shit, okay? We are tired of you guys beating us in the spelling bee. We can't even win a spelling bee. A white kid can't win a spelling bee without some Indian dude crushing their ass. I know you're trying, but they just can't get past, so they use this word Christian bullshit. You're Hindu. What's wrong with being Hindu? They go Christian. This is the same people that talk about this Christian shit that, you know, where the Klan would burn crosses on black people's lawns back in the day. And they would say in the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. When Jesus shows up, you guys are going to be pissed. You guys are going to probably burn a cross on Jesus's lawn when you see what he looks like when he shows up. So this whole Christian shit is a bunch of bullshit. And you're not even the first Christians, white folks. We can go back to Ethiopia and talk about all of that. You know, and if you want to debate me in this religious bullshit, you can go do that. I'm sure you'll say it in the comments and give me a whole paragraph of that's not true. I don't give a fuck. All right. But Vivek, the point is, Vivek, they don't want your Indian ass to be running shit. Do you understand that? Okay. And Ann Coulter even said it. You're brown. I'm not fucking with you because you're brown. So after this town meeting, I'm sure all of those white Christian conservatives are going to go to yoga class after, which is Indian created, and they're going to eat some Indian food off at some chicken tikka masala, some lamb korma, some saag paneer, mata paneer, some samosa. You know they're going to do that because that's exactly what they want you for, Vivek. They want you to let them know where the best Indian food is because that's what they love to do. I'm sorry. It is what it is.
Now, Vivek Ramaswamy, are you starting to get it now? You went to that Turning Point USA event. You took your brown ass there in front of all them white people to try to convince them that you are somehow going to be a good choice to be governor of Ohio. Ohio, the state that I come from, that super white ass state. And them white folk flamed you and they told you what they really think about you. That white boy went and said, Jesus is God and Christianity is the only religion. If you pray to any other religion, you are praying to a demon. He said you and what you pray to was on demon time. And they sat there and criticized, why would a brown Hindu man be the governor of Ohio? White Christian interests should be upheld. They don't want to be told what to do by a brown man. That's what you don't seem to get yet. You will only ever invited into those spaces because you were Donald Trump's little whipping boy. And you got to go up there and parrot all of Donald Trump's talking points in a manner that was more concise because you can actually functionally read. And then once Trump got back into office, all of you pick-me's had outlived your usefulness. That's why they got rid of your ass at Doge, because you was a brown man in a white space trying to talk. and they didn't need your ass no more. So they kicked you to the curb. And you think that all of a sudden you got a shot in Ohio. And I need to be honest, when I think about these pick-me's, when I think about these emotional support coons, I have come to the conclusion that y'all actually have a humiliation fetish. You have a humiliation kink. Because you can actually go up there and parrot white supremacist talking points. When these same white supremacists are like, we voted for Donald Trump. We voted for a man who promised mass deportations. And when we talking about mass deportations, they're talking about your ass. They're talking about your parents' ass who immigrated here. But you still don't get it yet. Because you actually think that you're one of the good ones. You're so steeped in your anti-blackness that you really think they'll ever have a seat for you. And they never will. And I know that while you like to get your rocks off while they're insulting you, that impacts other brown folk down the line.
Hey, Vivek, you got what you deserve, brother. You just won't listen. But if you need the people to tell you what we've been telling you, do your thing, Bo. Do your thing. But that was pretty embarrassing, huh? And those kids were young, Vivek. Young kids. That should be an issue to us. These MAGA kids, and I don't even know if they'll be called MAGA by the time these kids grow up, but they're starting them out young. Real young. All based on the foundation of Christianity. Like, they had a problem with Vivek because he was Hindu. How could we have a Hindu run our city when we're Christians? Vivek had a great comeback to that, I have to say. He said, I'm not trying to be your pastor. Perfect, Vivek. That was a perfect response. Perfect. But at the end of the day, Vivek, your skin is brown, bro. Your skin is brown. Period. They are not going for you. Now, to the topic at hand. You MAGA people voted for Donald Trump to be the president, correct? Correct. Right. You won. Donald Trump is the president, correct? Correct. If Donald Trump is suffering with dementia where he can't even remember his last name today, listen, I work with a dementia patient. I know how it is. That short-term memory, long-term, that's why he can remember all of the people who he feels in his dark, twisted mind betrayed him. He remembers the long-term, but that short-term stuff, So if you're giving him an executive order today to sign, tomorrow he's not going to remember it. He won't remember it 10 minutes after he signed it. What was that, by the way? What did I just sign? So, MAGA, if you voted for Donald Trump to be your president and he has dementia, who's the president? It's not the guy that you voted for. I let that simmer in a little bit while I eat my Jamaican patty. If you voted for Donald Trump and he has dementia, incapable of making decisions, like I said, he remembers long-term, but that short-term stuff, Ask him if he remembers the meeting he had with Netanyahu. Ask him if he remembers his 20 points or whatever the hell it is. Somebody is behind this man, MAGA. That's why y'all are being hurt. Because if he used that full capacity, you would not be hurting. I don't know about that. But he's not at full capacity. Somebody else is turning the wheels. Somebody else is making the decision. Somebody else is using that, what is it, auto pen? Donald Trump is not making decisions. He might have clarity maybe, 5 minutes a day? But for the most part, somebody else is making the decisions. And the decisions that they're making is also hurting you. I know when you voted, you thought it was going to be them other people. But whoever's behind him, and keep in mind, MAGA, his father had dementia. His father had Alzheimer's at the end of his life. So maybe it runs in the family. And this is not, it's not a weird occurrence that he might be suffering the same thing. But anyway, y'all should really consider it because the person you voted for is not the person that's running the country. considering.
Vivek Ramaswamy. Oh, Vivek. Vivek is finding out that just because you are on the right and you claim to be MAGA, that is not going to work out for you with Christian nationalists. Check this out.
Jesus Christ is God, and there is no other God. He is part of the Holy Trinity, and any other God is a demon, and it's false. How can you represent the constituents of Ohio who are 64% Christian if you are not a part of that faith?
Remember when I told you that if a certain bucket gets kicked, J.D. Vance taking over that role is not going to work for him because of his wife? Check more of this out!
Christian voices should be the main voice of America, and I want to know basically why you seem to be, and I don't mean to be horribly offensive, but
Yeah, you do. Christians are really good at it.
why you seem to be masquerading as a Christian.
Oh, Vivek. Oh, Vivek!
You call yourself a Hindu, but you also call yourself Christian.
I don't call myself Christian. I call myself a Hindu.
The red hat is not gonna save you.
I'm not running to be pastor of Ohio. I'm running to be governor of Ohio, and I didn't run to be pastor of America. I ran to be president of the United States of America.
J.D. Vance is gonna get this thrown in his arena. I love this for him.
Do you think it's inappropriate for someone who's a Hindu to be, say, a U.S. president?
No, I think it's... no, well...
They think they're safe. They think because they have aligned themselves with Donald Trump that they're safe. Oh, cash yap.
Like I said, I'm not here to justify my faith to you any more than you are to me, but what I do share is the value set this country was founded on. And I think that it's really important that we not reinvent the founding of this country and what it was actually all about.
Like I said, cults have one leader. Christian nationalism is about to become a problem for a lot of people that didn't think that it was going to be a problem for them.
How can you represent the constituents of Ohio who are 64% Christian if you are not a part of that faith? If you are an Indian, a Hindu, coming from a different culture, different religion than those who founded this country, those who grew this country, built this country, made this country the beautiful thing that it is today, what are you conserving? You are bringing change. I'll be 100% honest with you.
To the people that are pointing out that Christianity now in America, especially in the evangelical South and things like that, is no longer about the worship of the ways and the life that Jesus lived and worshiping God. It's now about, white Christian nationalism, right? They've merged the bigotry and racism into under the guise of Christianity. You are right on the money. And those are young adults. Oh, there's more. That is Vivek Ramaswamy. Remember, he was running for president. His family is descended from India. He is a U.S. citizen, right? But however, they want to know, these kids, these young adults at the Turning Point USA, yes, Charlie Kirk's company, the dog whistling's out. They want to know how could he do politics when he is not Christian, which really means you're not white. You're not American as we know it. That kid snitched on himself and said, you are Indian. Before he corrected himself and said, you are Hindu. And then we watch Vivek here have to justify. I mean, what happened to separation of church and state? You want to talk about founding fathers. But Vivek had to justify his existence. I'll be damned if I ever have to justify my existence in front of some Europeans. But let's keep going.
Christian voices should be the main voice of America, and I want to know basically why you seem to be, and I don't mean to be horribly offensive, but why you seem to be masquerading as a Christian.
You familiar with the Ten Commandments?
You call yourself a Hindu, but you also call yourself Christian.
I don't call myself Christian. I call myself a Hindu. I'm not running to be pastor of Ohio. I'm running to be governor of Ohio, and I didn't run to be pastor of America.
We're going to do an exercise. If you got this far in the video, run back the video. And every time you hear the word Christian, just replace it with the word white. Christian voices should be the voices that represent America. White voices should be the voices that represent America. There's a bunch of Christians and Americans that are not white. They will still find a way to remove them from the pool. There are a bunch of black people in this country that are Christian to the core, even more Christian than a lot of these folks. They still find a way to exclude them. They still find a way. You get the point. But now you see Vivek over there
They also call you out on something else, brother. They said you're masquerading to be a Christian. I know you're not masquerading to be a Christian, but you know what they're picking up on? Even these young adults, these adults that are learning all this stuff over there from Turning Point USA, they see you are trying to justify your existence. You are trying to find a way to fit in with them in their Christian lifestyle, even though you are of a different religion, different sect, whatever, etc. And they assume that you're worshiping their God. They assume that you want to be just, and that, look at that, they're picking on you, letting you know you're not welcome in this club. Now, in Vivek's defense, brother, you're right. You're not running to be pastor of America. You're running to be governor of Ohio. You ran to be president of the United States of America. But anyway, I say all this to say, insert the last clip.
Isn't Charlie Kirk's organization founded on Christian values as well? And isn't the United States of America also, based on what Protestantism is, based on how those values are? Wouldn't that contradict what your beliefs are?
Like I said, I'm not here to justify my faith to you any more than you are to me. But what I do share is the value set this country was founded on. And I think that it's really important.
I say all of that to say I will never let you guys gaslight me, right? We're less than a month removed from when people that look like me were telling you, you heard that, gentleman? Isn't Charlie Kirk's organization founded on this, that, and the third? And then went to the bigotry, went to try to exclude the brother because, oh, he's not Christian, and went to the dog whistles. I said, stop telling me about context. Stop telling me about this, that, and third when your words are drawing a certain group of people and are radicalizing groups of people. It's either you are intentionally doing those things or you're not smart enough to adjust. You got a bunch of young adults there who they may not even know it are on that pipeline. That's right. Under the guise of Christianity. Even for someone as conservative as Vivek. But because he ain't bleached his skin enough and he don't worship Jesus, that bigotry start oozing out, that racism start oozing out like venom. You got those people under your banners, Turning Point USA behind you, using your name after you're no longer here to correct it. Acting as though you would have lobbied and vied for this stuff. And you guys are trying to tell us, oh, the words, he was a guy that brought peace. Oh, well, that's peace right there for you. And again, Vivek's still at the end trying to justify his existence. I will rather sit and live in the stink of mediocrity. In a stink of mediocrity, okay, while being progressive, rather than selling out my soul to be a modern minority for a bunch of conservatives who will remind me anyway that there is a ceiling to my ascension. Good luck.
This is all I got from this video. Excuse me. You know, one thing with people is that when you try to save them, they think you do not like them, because at this point, I don't know why or how this man would not love himself enough. Now, let me tell us something. No, but anyway, it's not like I'm telling my people, because my people already knew this. All right? Black people have been saying this for so long. Black people told you, Vivek, see, the worst part is that when you are trying to be a MAGA, right? You will lose the people that love you and lose your own people, because he is not standing with his own people. He lost his people. He lost the people that probably loved him or might have loved him if he were on right track, right? So he doesn't have anybody. So the people he ran to, thinking that they will love him, are also chasing him away. As young as those kids are, you see how young they are, but they are telling him that how do we expect you to come where it is like it's a Christian community or a Christian state, and you with your Muslim, when he's not a Muslim, he is actually Indian and Hindu, right? Yeah. And now they are calling him Muslim when he is actually not a Muslim. So for them, if you are not a Christian, you are a Muslim. So whichever one you want to accept, whether you are Hindu, you are practicing Buddhism, Judaism, or whatever you are practicing, as long as you are not a Christian, you are not fit for that position. See, I don't know, but I personally feel that Turning Point USA actually coached these kids properly before coming out to speak. I don't know if you know what I'm saying. I feel that these kids did not wake up to say all these things they are saying. You heard me right. All this they were spewing were what they told them. Vivek, black people have been told you that you cannot be white, no matter how you try. No matter how you try. And I cannot wait to see Tim Scott, Byron Donald. They may have experienced some fair share from them. We need more. So they understand that they can never ever be white. It's as simple as ABC. Am I happy that these kids, I am happy that they showed him a little bit of what they can do. As tiny as they are already MAGA. You could say it, that they do not care about any other person that is not from their own side. So why do you, oh my God. Bye for now.